So I've been using the iPhone 16 Pro for about 6 months now, and the 16 series in particular is a bit of an interesting one. We have Apple heavily promoting Apple Intelligence. The entire phone was built with Apple Intelligence in mind, and Apple Intelligence isn't necessarily fully here yet. We have some features, but not all the features. And also with the upcoming iPhone 17 series set to release later this year in another 6 months, should you just go out and buy the iPhone 16 Pro now, or should you just wait for the iPhone 17 Pro? I'm going to answer that later on this video. Now I want to start by saying I'm coming from an iPhone 15 Pro Max. Why did I switch to an iPhone 16 Pro? This isn't the Max model. This is the regular 16 Pro. And the reason for that, Apple increased the display size by shrinking the bezels, going from a 6.1 inch to a 6.3 inch, and the 6.7 inch to the 6.9 inch with the Pro Max model, respectively. Downgrading to a smaller size phone is a breath of fresh air. My last two iPhones, the 15 Pro Max and the 14 Pro Max, were Max models phones, and going to a smaller form factor just feels so brand new. I could type easily with one hand. It just fits so much better. Most importantly, it's lighter, especially if you're gonna slap a case on it alongside the MagSafe wallet, and it just fits in my pockets a little bit better too, so you can easily put it in the front pocket without it sticking out too much. And I gotta say, all in all, nobody's saying that, oh, you have a small phone. Nobody's saying that between the Pro and the Pro Max. I say all of that to say that the days of having a small phone is over. And just looking at the screen now, I don't know how further Apple is gonna reduce the bezels on the 17. I cannot go to a notch iPhone. I tested out the iPhone 16e. I did an entire day in the life. Make sure you guys check it out. Just going back to a notch iPhone is kind of like going to an iPhone with a home button. I said it last year with the 15 and even the 14, but it has to be said again for the 16. I love the dynamic island so much. It's really that good. It's one of my favorite iPhone features. As you can see, I went with the black titanium. I'm still happy that I went with this color. I didn't want to go with the desert titanium because it looks so similar to the natural titanium. The black color still looks sleek to this day, although it is going to pick up some fingerprints, especially around the housing. You do have the camera control. I actually use the camera control all the time to activate the camera app, and I used to have it set to an action button with my 15 Pro Max, but now that we have that camera control, I've just been easily just pressing that button, taking a picture, and going about my way. And nowadays I have my action button set to the flashlight. I'm thinking about changing that to the do not disturb or even a sleep wake. But here's the thing, I also have it on my Apple Watch too, set to the flashlight with the action button. So yeah, something is gonna have to change here. And that's a perfect segue to talk about the cameras. I took over 13,000 photos on my iPhone. Took a lot, and I gotta say, the camera is absolutely incredible. There's a reason why Apple crowns as the best smartphone camera, whether it's video or pictures. There's a lot of good other camera phones out there, but when it comes down to both video and pictures, this one is no exception. I went all around the world just taking pictures on my iPhone 16 Pro. I went to Cali, I went to Vegas, I went to Spain. Of course, I live here in New York, so of course Manhattan. You name it, I pretty much took a picture on my iPhone 16 Pro. This has up to 4K 120 frames per second, which is nice and dandy, but I rarely find myself shooting in 4K 120. You also have the photograph styles, which I rarely find myself using. I literally just point and shoot. If I want to get fancy, I use Apple Pro Raw and just drop it into Lightroom and edit the photo just there. So if you're talking about point and shoot, there's no denying that the iPhone is gonna get it. When I was in Cali for Samsung Unpack event, I did took a trip to Apple Park. That is why I'm wearing this t-shirt. I decided to record some videos, and alongside the unboxing of these exclusive Apple shirts that you can only get at Apple Park. The cameras are so good that I'm willing to just rely on the iPhone 16 Pro. Now, speaking of video, you have something called audio mix. For the past 6 months, I never used that feature, the audio mix. It is probably nice to have, but don't really use it at all. And yes, I'm in Toronto, Canada. I'm here for Siobhan's birthday party. Shout out to the homie Siobhan. That's the CN Tower. Let's zoom it all the way in. You guys see that? If I'm not mistaken, I see somebody maybe hanging off on that. Just kidding. That's not Drake. Here's a quick little fit check. You guys can see, looking clean.
Always remember, slow motion is better than no motion. If you put in the hard work, you get what you deserve. So I just want to say thanks for everybody for coming out, and yeah, much love.
And also too, with the camera control, I know it's a little finicky adjusting the camera, but I got used to it. I definitely got used to it, but I only use it for the exposure. So usually iPhone photos can come out a little too bright for my liking, so I usually lower down the exposure to negative 0.1 or 0.2. And it is nice and dandy to control it on the fly just by double tapping the control button and just adjusting it accordingly. So it is nice to have that feature, but anything else above it, like changing the depth and the zoom and everything, I don't use at all. This is a 1 terabyte iPhone. I always get 1 terabyte. I'm a content creator. I'm always taking pictures. I'm using Final Cut Pro camera. I'm doing all kinds of stuff on my phone. Now, I filled this up all the way to the brim. I was using 800 gigabytes. I was running low. It was to a point where the iPhone was saying,
hey, storage is low, free some storage.
I think for me, that was the last straw. I'm a guy that never pays for iCloud storage up until today. So I decided to pay for the 2 terabyte iCloud plan, and now I'm saving a bunch of storage. Now, this is only using 220 gigabytes, freeing up a bunch of space. I'm freeing up 800 gigabytes essentially. I just spend 1 terabyte money. I don't want to keep on paying for iCloud storage. Like, it just, to me, it didn't make no sense. I gotta think about it. iCloud is always backing up my phone. Then I gotta think about other devices too, like my iPad, my second iPhone, and that's why I decided to just subscribe to iCloud Plus. And it is nice to have that ease of mind too as well, that you have a backup of all your photos and everything. I am planning on updating my iPhone storage guide video. If you guys want to see that, make sure you guys subscribe with notifications on. Going from a 15 Pro Max, I was very concerned to switch to a 16 Pro. Will that mean worse battery? This is gonna last you about 27 hours of video playback, while the 15 Pro Max is gonna last 29 hours. So yes, I am losing some hours, but thanks to the efficiency of the A18 chip, you're gonna get pretty good battery life. I did an entire day in the life on the 16 Pro as well. Highly encourage you guys to check that out, but this lasts all day without a doubt. But if you go with the 16 Pro Max, if you want the best battery life on an iPhone, that's the one you go with. But just to put it in perspective, this battery life is the same thing as the 16 Plus. It's rated for 27 hours, but just recently today, I decided to check the battery health capacity, and it shattered my heart to see that I'm at 99% battery health right now. Oh, it's 98 now? Wow, it's 98. That's crazy. 98% battery health, wow. 6 months in, that's totally fine. Compared to the iPhone 14, which was, it was crazy. It was draining like crazy. But usually this is the beginning of the end. Once it's at 99, it's gonna drop down to 98, 97, and so on and so forth. I charge my phone up to 80%. I still use the battery charge limit, so going from 0 to 80% every day. And when I'm traveling, I like to charge it all the way up to 100% because it's gonna be a long travel day. This is just a no-brainer. Performance is blazing fast. Launching up apps is no problem. I think it comes down to if the apps are memorized in the background, but for the most part, it's been pretty good on the 16 Pro. All right, so all of that stuff out the way, we know Apple knows how to make a great iPhone. I mean, you know, incredible cameras, fantastic design. USB Type-C has been pretty good for transferring larger files from my travel experiences. All that stuff is dandy, but we gotta talk about the headlighting feature, Apple Intelligence. Now, this has been an absolute dumpster fire for Apple. Delays after delays and complications. We have yet to still have the full-blown Apple Intelligence experience. Let me just show you some of the features that I've been using with Apple Intelligence, and I want to take it over to the mail. I just appreciate the fact how it prioritized my mail. So on the front and center, on the top, you guys can see that priority is going to just pinpoint what's the most important mail. I like the summarize of the emails and the notification. Although you got to take it with a grain of salt because it's AI, it's doing the best it can. It's not going to be perfect, But one thing that I love using is actually the writing tool. So taking it back over to the mail application, this is just a test message here. I could be able to have a different tonality. Let me actually open up the writing tools here. So I like this. This is something that I use all the time. I mean, when I'm writing out emails and I'm writing out deals and stuff like that, it is nice to be able to use the writing tools. So I could proofread it, which is going to check for grammar, misspellings, etc. You could rewrite it. You can have it sound more friendlier, sound more professional, or you can concise. I don't use this all the time. When I'm texting my friends and stuff, I don't use this. But if I'm typing in an email and I want to make it sound more professional, I use this. For one of my videos, I entirely use Apple Intelligence to write out a script, not this video. So yes, I use the writing tools a lot when it comes down to work and getting things done. Here's my wallpaper. I'm gonna throw a link in the description. I think this is really nice. Vortex is out right now. Now, another feature I like to use is the cleanup tool. And now what this is gonna allow you to do, you could be able to tap elements to remove people out the background. Okay, so it's not perfect, but sometimes I do use it. I actually use ChatGPT all the time. So ask ChatGPT on how to improve my YouTube thumbnails and get more views. And I'm just using this as an example. If you're doing any kind of work, you know, you can ask ChatGPT. You can ask it anything. And I think to take this a step further too, you could use visual intelligence. So on the iPhone 16 series, you have the camera control. All you do, you just press and hold it. So I can have certain things, certain objects, and it could be able to identify what it is. Or even so, if you hover over to a poster, it gives you the option to add it to the calendar. I have yet to use that yet per se. Those 4 features I use all the time. Now, everything else is starting to get a little gimmicky. This is Image Playground, and I have yet to use this. Only use it one time when I was making a video to showcase it. So Image Playground, you could be able to basically make AI images. And yeah, so that's supposed to be me. The best thing about this is all on device, which is pretty cool. That's pretty sick. Now, it's to be expected, this is gonna heat up your phone. So Gymmoji is another Apple Intelligence feature that I rarely use. I tried to use it, but the emojis look kind of weird. I thought I was gonna use this a lot, but not really. So let's say I could type in an apple with legs. So essentially you could create your own emoji. Oh, shout out to the Pop the Balloon and Find Love. Yo, shout out to Arlette and them. They doing big things. The Pop the Balloon and Find Love is coming to Netflix. It's been an honor to be on Pop the Balloon and Find Love. All right, so I have apple with legs, right? I could be able to add that with no problem. But Instagram is gonna treat that as an attachment. So it's not gonna really come up as an emoji. It's gonna just come up as a picture. So you guys can see here, it's just a picture. It's a PNG picture that you can legitimately save on. Now, the feature that we waiting is the Siri 2.0, just the overhaul to Siri. It's gonna basically be a little bit more sophisticated when it comes down to giving you information. That's what Apple is having trouble with right now. I mean, to do multiple tasks at once with Siri. The ChatGPT thing is pretty redundant because you can always download the ChatGPT app if you really want to. So yeah, ChatGPT is taking over. AI, guys, is taking over the universe, and Apple knows that. You guys probably know that. Like, the AI is here to stay. I have all hopes for Apple. I think Apple is gonna get it together. I know iOS 19 is gonna be pretty dope. And that leaves me. Should you buy an iPhone 16 now, or should you just wait for the iPhone 17? Now, as we know, the iPhone 17 series is set to release this year in September, and September is another 6 months away. Always wait for the next iPhone, whether if you want to get the 17 or not. The iPhone 16 series is going to come down in price, and then the iPhone 17 will be the shiny new iPhone to get. And when that time comes, you win as the consumer because you could get the flashy new iPhone, or you save a little bit of money and get the iPhone 16, which is already fantastic. This is a good phone. I know I bash on Apple Intelligence, but hardware and the cameras and the battery life even, this is still a fantastic iPhone to buy. It's just the Apple Intelligence. Apple is really marketing this thing heavy. Although it might not be completed now, once they get the ball rolling, Apple's gonna go all in on AI, Apple Intelligence. So that's why I recommend getting an iPhone with Apple Intelligence support. The future of iOS is solely gonna focus on Apple Intelligence, and you know, you don't want to miss out on any features. If I wasn't a content creator on YouTube, I would easily switch back to the iPhone 15 Pro Max. The iPhone 17 is gonna be a bit of an interesting one. We have a thin model, which is rumored. We have a thicker Pro Max and a thicker Pro phone. It's gonna be very interesting, and I cannot wait to review it in September. It's gonna be something. So make sure you guys subscribe with notifications on so you guys can see coverage on the iPhone 17 and other Apple related content, because I have a bunch of videos coming up.